What's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show, man. I am live and in color, guys, and behind a brick wall. So, hey, hey, that's just doing a little virtual reality stuff right there. I see 20 of Charity Kindmaster and CSX fan, my man, the young man, my buddy, my friend. Charity is in the house. What's up, Charity? Charity says send link. No! Charity, give me a couple minutes. I will send a link. And so you can link up and come on to the show a little bit. So I'll do that in just a few minutes. But hey, welcome to the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Guys, I am here. I'm going to talk about a few things, man. I'm going to talk about a few things that I haven't got into earlier this week. So I'm going to go ahead and get into a little Monday Night Raw a little bit in this episode here, man. Here on this Thursday night. I'm going to talk about the big shows coming up. We got a few big shows coming up. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about, are we getting what we invest in wrestling, guys? So I'm going to talk about, what we're investing as far as our time in wrestling, as far as our money in wrestling as wrestling fans. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about, hey, what is the return? What is the return to us as fans? Are we getting what we should be getting in wrestling? All right. So I'm going to talk about that. Talk about the majors and the mid. And when I talk about the majors, I'm talking about AEW and WWE. WWE, I guess I should say that first. WWE and AEW, and then TNA. Let's see, TNA, NWA. So I'll talk about that a little bit. Basically, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details on it. I'm going to talk about that a little bit and how it all plays out into the indies. So I'm going to talk about the indies too a little. So appreciate everybody coming in, guys. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go over that. But I am going to go over Monday Night Raw. I know a lot of people have already done that, and this is kind of late in the week to pretty much do it. But I am going to go ahead and go over it. I see Logan James is in the house. Logan James K says hello. Hello, Logan James K. Glad that you joined the Straight Up Wrestling Show tonight, man. I appreciate you coming in. It's just me solo. My man Christopher Burton is not on right now. Hey, he may come in. I have no clue. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing right now, but you got HBT on the set right now. And, man, hey, I'm about to talk a little bit about, I might go into Monday Night Raw. But before that, let's talk about some of the things that's coming up. All In is supposed to be coming up this weekend, guys. All In is coming up this weekend. And so Sunday, I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to see if Christopher Burton is off Sunday. If my partner Chris is off, Chris and I will be here live for that show. If not, maybe I'll do it solo. I'm not sure. If I want to do it solo, it's probably going to be a long show. Now, Tatiana, our girl Tatiana, she will be doing that Sunday, I think, and they're going to have a big panel over there. But maybe I will do a solo, or I have Christopher Burton on with me. But I think Chris is supposed to be off on this weekend. And so we will be doing that show. And so in the next week, we have Bash at Berlin. WWE will have the Bash at Berlin, PPL, and they will have the next day, we'll have No Mercy, the NXT pay-per-view, where PPL will be the next day. So we definitely will be there checking those out. Man, I love when WWE does this and they have those things back to back. And I don't know if I have Chris with me on both of those shows, because this schedule is kind of like, can get a little iffy there. And I am off on the weekend, so I definitely will be doing that. So we got some big shows coming up. Like I say, not Bash at Berlin, but All In is this weekend. So I know a lot of people are going to be checking that out right now. Me being on, and I'm on right now, and I know TNA is about to have a show here in just a little while. A lot of people will be checking that thing out. TNA, and I think Ring of Honor has something rocking right now. Ring of Honor does have their thing going on. But hey, I'm not going to do Ring of Honor tonight. I'm not going to be here for 2 hours straight. I do have something. I have some things I got to do, but I am going to go ahead and go over Raw here in just a little bit, guys. And then I'm going to talk about some other things. Like I said, I just now got finished talking about the big shows that's coming up, and I'm talking about, or I want to talk about, are we getting what we invest in wrestling as wrestling fans? Is the investment worth it? I mean, yeah, it's worth it that we love it and everything, but are we getting back what we invest in it? Because, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan today, more than anything, you are investing a lot of time into this business, and especially if you're a podcaster like me, somebody who's a podcaster, me and my partner Christopher Burton. We don't just podcast live here on the set. We podcast live at indie shows. We go and we do commentary at indie shows. We do a lot of different things to add to that. So we invest a lot of time into this business, man. And, you know, hey, and money too. You know, I've invested a lot more money than I made back in this business. You know, I haven't really made a lot of money in this business, pennies on the dollar, especially like you say, if you want to look at everything that we do here on the internet, man. This is basically pennies on the dollar. And I'm talking about a whole bunch of dollars, man. Pennies on $20. Just put it that way. But you really don't make anything doing this until you really get up to that, you know, 15, 25,000 you know, subscribers or whatever. And speaking of subscribers, hey, if you're on Facebook, hey, hit that like, share, join. If you're here on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know we're on like times like these. And definitely, man, let's see, wait a minute. Am I on Twitch? I think I'm on Twitch. Yeah, I'm on Twitch too. If you on Twitch, definitely do the same thing that you do over here on YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you guys coming on, and the ones who's been loyal and who's been rocking with us for a long time, and the new people that's coming in too, that's rocking with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. We definitely appreciate that 100%, man. Word up. All right, Charity says no. Charity, I definitely got to get you on. Just give me a couple more minutes, Charity, and I'll get you in here straight up. All right. I definitely get you in here. Let you say a few things, Charity. All right. So, guys, let me go ahead and get to that Raw. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that Monday Night Raw. Talk about Monday Night Raw. Now, Monday Night Raw, look, I have no clue. I really don't. And, you know, I was talking to my partner, Christopher Burton. I mean, I don't know. It was flat, and it was flat the whole night. Should have been a better show. But, hey, I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and give you my advice I'm not my advice, but I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion on the show. You know, some people might like it, some people may not like it, and some people may disagree. But I think the sentiment is, as far as overall, I think most people looked at it as it just did not hit the mark the way it should have. And when it boils down to it, like I said, me and Christopher Burton was talking about this. It's no excuse for it. It really isn't. It's no excuse for a company, which I was telling them, it's no excuse for a company that big, as big as WWE is, and as much talent as they have, and all the help that Triple H has in the department, in the creative department. Is no reason for them to have a bad show. It really isn't. You're not going to have a great show every night, but there's no reason for you to have just basically a plain show or a bad show. No ins, ands, or buts about it, guys. But yeah, let me go and check a few things out here before I get into this Monday Night Raw review. But yeah, I want to check out a few things that I got going on so I can make sure everything is going on correctly on the channel. Having a little trouble here. Okay. What in the world's going on? What's going on, Shad Van Dam? Shad Van Dam is in the house. I don't know what in the world's going on here with my tablet. All right, something's going on with my tablet, guys. Give me just a moment here. All right, I just want to make sure that everything is being recorded and I can hear everything. So if you guys can't hear anything, let me know, because right now I'm not sure, because something's going on here with my tablet. I'm not sure. Okay, all right. Now, yeah, I see that I am being heard. Wow. All right, guys, let me go ahead and get into this Monday Night Raw review. It's going to be just a second. Main Event Van Dam is now in your podcast. Yes, sir. And Shah, we definitely got to get into some of those things that you did, some of those things that you have sent to us. Man, I definitely love them. So we definitely need to get on to some of that and maybe do a review on those. Man, I definitely want to do those. But yeah, let me get into this Monday Night Raw. And after that, Charity, I'm going to invite you on and you'll be able to say a few things. I'll send the link, okay? All right, how about that? Let's go ahead and make that deal with each other, all right? Let's see. Let me go ahead and get into this Monday Night Raw, guys. All right, give me just a second here. Shaw says disconnect from the McDonald's Wi-Fi. Man, you tripping, man. You are tripping. Oh boy. Wow. What in the world I got going on here? Oh, that's a little something different there. Definitely something a little different. All right. Man, I hate this. I hate this. All right, give me just a minute here, guys. This is on here. Too much light here. All right, that's better. All right, but yeah, I am about to get into this Monday Night Raw review. All right, guys. Yeah, I did write some of the stuff down, so I'm going to go off that and I ad-lib off of that and pretty much give you my thoughts and all that. All right, Monday Night Raw, I like to begin with the entrance of CM Punk, Issa Dawn, and Alba Fire. Pure Fusion Collection, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Starks, plus the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. I definitely like that entrance, guys. Everything looked different. It was pretty cool. So after seeing the entrance, I thought, hey, maybe they're going to do a little something different than what they've been doing like the last couple years. I say the last 2 to 3 years, Raw have pretty much started the same way. And AEW takes note of that, and they do the same thing. And then you look at not AEW, but TNA does the same thing that both of those guys do. Both of those companies do. WWE and AEW. And unfortunately, the independent scene, they follow the same suit. They all do what the WWE does. So all that stuff trickles down to what the independents do. Everybody, they do that. They do that. Hey, what we see is what we gonna do. That's all it is to it. And it's kind of crazy, guys. I wish that didn't happen, but hey, it is what it is right now. All right, man. We had the Randy Orton in-ring promo. He was joined by Gunther, and hey, those guys. Randy Orton was in there talking for a while, and pretty much, he's pretty much gassing himself up, talking about, he's a 15-time world champion and everything. And hey, I love it. I love Randy Orton, and Randy Orton. He's basically, pretty much. Like I said, he's putting out what he's about and everything. And, he's not going to take any of this mess from Gunther and everything. He's ready for the challenge, and he's ready to be a 16-time world champion. He went out there and stated that he's been a 15-time world champion. And hey, I don't blame the man. The man wants respect from that. And even from a person like Gunther, who's been out here pretty much terrorizing the business, man. He terrorized for over a year as the Intercontinental Champion. And before that, as Walter, he was just dominating people. So, Randy Orton came out there and pretty much was demanding his respect. And, last week, Randy Orton was able to hit Gunther as Gunther turned his back with that RKO. And anybody knows, if you've been around or you've been watching wrestling in some form of fashion, over the last, the last 17, 18 years or wherever, how long Randy Orton has been in the business, you just don't turn your back on Randy Orton. He's going to hit you with RKO or something like that, or even as a partner or whatever. You don't turn your back on Randy Orton. He's just that type of person, man. He's a great wrestler and everything. But Randy Orton is a little sneaky, but hey, he did get Gunther, man, with that RKO, and I'm pretty surprised that Gunther actually fell for that. And then Gunther came out, so he ended up having that face-off with Gunther, and him and Gunther ended up having a little face-off, having a little, tiff, back and forth. Those guys had a powwow, and Gunther was like, man, hey, you got me last time. But you must be out your mind if you think this thing is going to go unanswered. Hey, I'm not the type of person that's going to let something like that go unanswered. So Gunther, man, hey, they ended up starting off, fighting a little bit and everything. And Ludwig Kaiser came from behind and hit Gunther. He attacked his leg, which everybody does now. Extended the elbow, got him down, and they was able to take advantage from there. But that's what they do. Everybody goes for this leg now, man. I don't know what the heck is leg. And like I say, and Randy Orton has leg problems. But hey, they love Randy laying in that ring, man. They love him out. So hey, it's going to be interesting what comes down the road at Berlin. Can Randy Orton become a 16-time world champion? I have no clue. I have no clue. Do Triple H? Now, if Vince McMahon was there, I'm pretty sure Gunther will retain the title. But do Triple H want to take that title off Gunther that fast? I have no clue. I know a lot of people want Randy Orton to win that title. And yes, Randy Orton has all the skill in the world to get that title from Gunther, man. But right now, in this case, and it does not matter as much as I do like Randy, and I would love to see him get a 16th World Championship. Gunther needs to retain that title for, what is the word? For what is the word? I can't think of the word right now, but to continue to have that title be as prestigious as it is, Gunther needs to retain that title, man. So I mean, we need quality title runs, straight up, especially when it's somebody with in the caliber of a Gunther or Randy Orton. Like I say, because if you're gonna put it on Randy Orton, then you need to put that title on him, and then you need to have Gunther chase him for 8 months and try to get that belt back. Straight up. Even though it's a long run to try to do that, you need to have Gunther chase him, and Gunther have to go back through the gauntlet and beat people up and chase him until he finally face off at him at a WrestleMania or something like that and take that title back, because you got to make it meaningful. You just got to. Do not waste Gunther's do not waste him as the world champion and waste his title run. No ends, ands, and buts about it. Because what you could do is, in between the title run, as Randy Orton holds the title, if he wins it, you can have Randy Orton have to defend that title against a lot of some main players, but you still have Gunther on the sideline, and Gunther end up having to come in and take these guys out, even though Randy Orton is wrestling these guys, as far as in feuds that Gunther said, hey, you are getting in my way, and I'm going to take out anybody that gets in my way of my title. That is my title, and the run wasn't successful. And then you can have Gunther come back and win that title, and he can end up holding that title for 12 to 14 months. Man, it will make that title very important, like Gunther did the Intercontinental Championship. So I can see it in a scenario like that. But if Triple H don't have some kind of plan, and I mean similar to what I was talking about, don't have to be the exact plan, but he needs to have something really good to where people are going to believe that, hey, Gunther is this outstanding competitor, outstanding wrestler, and nothing was taken away from him, even by a loss. If he loses a match against Randy Orton, who's a great, outstanding wrestler, who's definitely capable of beating a Gunther and taking that title away from him. All right, guys, woo! But man, yeah. So let's go ahead and go to the next thing. But before I leave out of here, I'll go ahead and tell you what I gave that segment. I went ahead and rated the segment with stars instead of a thumbs up. I went ahead and gave it 3.5 stars. It was pretty good to start the night off. Next, man, we had Jackie Redmond backstage interview with Sheamus, and that was okay, guys. It was okay. It was nothing special. It was mid, but it kicked the match off nicely. Okay, and I'm talking about the Sheamus match. The Sheamus match versus Pete Dunne. They announced that they will have a match between. Okay, but before that, they announced that they will have a match between Randy Orton and Ludwig Kaiser for that night, because Ludwig Kaiser came out and he attacked Randy Orton. I was hoping that they didn't do that, but he did do that, and it's kind of funny because, like I say, Randy Orton was just out of it. He was hurt up, but they did go ahead and make that match. But talking about Sheamus, Sheamus out there talking to Jackie Redmond, and like I said, it was a mid. It pretty much was like a mid type thing. It was okay as far as his backstage interview with Jackie Redmond, and he's talking about the upcoming match with Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne came out there, and Pete Dunne is ready to go. I said, all right, yeah. So another thing I said too about that Randy Orton and Ludwig Kaiser announcement, I said it's fine, but straight up, it was repetitive, something you expect from the WWE. It was mid. It was, that's another thing that was mid about that announcement. It just was something that was repetitive. It wasn't nothing special about it. All right, next we had Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, guys. I gave that match 2 stars. I said it was a good match, but something about it just didn't click. But it is kind of a closure to some of the things Pete Dunne is going through with the ending of the Brawl in Bruce, because Pete Dunne, he's still pissed off about that, and he blames Sheamus for a lot of the things that they didn't get accomplished as far as the Brawling Brutes. He figured they could do a lot more as the Brawling Brutes, and he blames Sheamus for running around as Butch, man. As Butch. But when it boils down to it, I mean, it was all up to him. If he went ahead and let that man tell him that, hey, your name is Butch, you are Butch, and that's what you're going to be, and that's what you're going to run around as, and that's what you're going to answer to. If he decided to do that, if he let Sheamus do that to him as a grown man, as a wrestler, a tough guy, hey, man, that's all on you straight up. That's all on you, Pete Dunne. But Pete Dunne shouldn't have let that happen. But, yeah, he was Butch there for a while. And he's still mad at Sheamus that he was being called Butch. All right, Sean Van Dam said you can review them if you want, HBT. I'm thinking of streaming it as a full-length show as it is an actual show like watching Raw. Oh, man, that would be outstanding, Sean. That would be outstanding, man. I would love that. I would love that. All right, let's see. All right, Sean says, so Harry, he is 14 times going for his 15th title reign. Okay, Sean, okay, yeah, because what's the name? Yeah, okay, going for his 15th. Yeah, because he'll be one short if he wins that. I remember they were saying that, one short of John Cena and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. All right, Black Rain 7920 says, speaking of Raw, how did Priest and Real get beat up by midgets? Hey, that's another thing, man. It just, I mean, for a while there, Damian Priest, we're going to get to that. Damian Priest was taking care of business, and Real was taking care of business. They was. But, even with the other three, hey, midgets or whatever we call them, but we do got to acknowledge, we have to pay respects to Finn Balor, man. He is something special. He is outstanding. And he can pretty much, that's a midget that can take down any giant when it boils down to it in this business. So I definitely have to give him props, and he's the one who finally took down Roman straight up. So I will give it, I will say that with him coming in, he was the coup de grace that put down the big man, Damian Priest. All right, and changed the whole scenario of that fight, guys. All right, Maxine Dupree versus Ivy Now. Let's see, Maxine Dupree versus Ivy Now, who's accompanied by her boys, the Creed brothers, and Chad Gable. They look good together as a unit, guys. I thought they looked very good as they came out, looked very strong. The WWE was presenting every one of them as champions as they did before, and and then they went back on that. And so that's one thing I didn't like. And I'm looking at this right here, and I'm like, man, they look like champions, like they should be. Outstanding. The Creed brothers was an outstanding tag team at times in NXT. Chad Gable has been an outstanding wrestler. He's the one who should have the Intercontinental Championship, in my opinion. Even though I love Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion should be Chad Gable straight up. But yeah, they look good here, guys, as a unit. American, they called American made. Okay, the match wasn't bad. I said the match wasn't bad. Maxine shocked Ivy Now by drop kicking her in the back to start off the match. Yeah, that right there pretty much, I was like, wow. And, she knocked outside the ring. Maxine attacked her on the outside and beat her up some more before tossing her back in the ring where the veteran, the veteran got herself together before being attacked by Nikki Cross. Crazy ass. So Nikki Cross, crazy butt come in there. She just looked insane. And along with that, as she comes in there, you had not the Brawling Brutes, you had the Creed brothers come in and join, and Chad Gable. And next thing they all surrounded by the Y6. So I said, of course, the Y6 was there, and they attacked American Made, tossing out the Creed brothers. They got Chad Gable at the end, who was scared as a little puppy. So I gave it 1 star for the match and for all the shenanigans afterwards, guys. I'm talking about everything that happened after that match. Pretty much concluded, with the Y6 and them throwing out the Creed brothers, and they, with Bo Dallas getting a hold of Chad Gable. It just did not pass. It did not pass the muster, guys. It just put it like this: you couldn't butter your bread with that. It just wasn't there. And it definitely should have been something more special. Now, what you have is them trying to bring into some type of horror scene into into something with some serious wrestlers. I mean, straight up, the Creed brothers, NCAA champions, Chad Gable, Olympic champion. These guys are serious wrestlers, man. They straight wrestlers. And so I think it would have been better if they would have put them in with somebody else that could play that role even, a little bit better. It's not that Chad Gable and them don't play the role, because they play it pretty good. But man, these guys are straight wrestlers, and and you want to bring this crazy stuff to them. And I'm not gonna really call it crazy or whatever. We do enjoy it. We all enjoy it, but Chad Gable is not the one to bring that on, especially when he has so much momentum to, as far as going for the Intercontinental Championship or becoming a singles champion. It's just crazy, man. It's just really crazy. I don't know why Triple H decided to do that. I really don't. All right, Black Rain 79 says, speaking of Raw, okay, all right, yeah, we got that. But yeah, we definitely going to get to that. But yeah, that right there just it blows my mind how all that stuff is playing out with the Y6. And from what I'm understanding, they talking about we won't see them again until sometime next year, at the beginning of next year. I don't know. I know Bo Dallas is supposed to be having an important match coming up against Chad Gable, but for some reason I think they supposed to take them off TV until early next year, which don't make no kind of sense at all. You got to let it run its course. I don't care if you don't have anything for them. You better figure it out. Let it run its course. Because once they bring it back, people are not going to believe in it then either. So yeah, let it run its course straight up. All right, CM Punk in ring segment and face off against Drew McIntyre. So CM Punk got in the ring. He's talking and everything. It was okay. Not a great CM Punk segment, but it was okay. I thought he was doing decent there. Drew McIntyre came out and basically started talking about the bracelet that he had on and everything. And CM Punk already, he's already thanking the crowd because, they ended up giving him a bunch of bracelets or whatever. It just, everything was mid there. And, what's the name? CM Punk had straps out there. He had straps out there with him. So he wants to have a strap match, kind of like an Indian strap match with Drew McIntyre. And to win this match, like CM Punk said, you got to take your opponent and drag him from pillar to post, every single post, and make him tap out. Or you got to do something like that. But you got to defeat him, and you got to drag him to each ring post and then get the win like that. And I'm just looking at this whole thing, man. I'm just like, why in the world would they put CM Punk in a match against Drew McIntyre like this type of match? It doesn't make sense. And CM Punk out here bragging about what he can do against this guy who's 6'7", 6'7", all of 285, 290 pounds, if not more than that. Big, huge, strong guy. That is a tough task to drag somebody around like that, even when he was in his best shape. He's in decent shape again now, but he's had his injury problems and everything. Why in the world put his body through that to try to doggone drag big Drew McIntyre around the ring? And hey, if they want him to win the match, of course he's going to get it done. But man, wow, that's going to be very taxing. And I don't know if it's going to be believable, to tell you the truth, because I don't know if CM Punk will dominate Drew McIntyre in that type of match, if he can dominate him. Now, if he's just whooping him the whole time, that's a whole different ball game. But we'll see how all that turns out, guys. We definitely will see how that turns out. Shaw says if they're written off until next year, then that's perfect for the uncensored Netflix premiere. That's true. Also, Chad was the one to tell Triple H he wanted to work with Howdy Bo. There's an interview about it. Oh, okay. I did not even know that. I did not know that. So that's interesting, Shaw, and that's probably pretty much respect to Bray Wyatt or the Wyatt Wyndham family. So that's probably I'm not the Wyndham family, and hey. Bray Wyatt, let's see, the Wyatt Wyndham family. So that's probably respect to the Rotundo, to the Rotundo, and let's see, God almighty, man, the Wyndham Rotunda family. So there's probably respect that to that family, man. And you talking about an incredible. If Chad Gable wants to give anybody, man, big time props for him being the type of wrestler he is, the Olympic style, the Greek Orthodox wrestler that he is, the incredible amateur style wrestler, pro wrestler that he is, then giving that to Mike Rotundo is something, is a big, that right there is a big endorsement. That is something that you really can gravitate toward and say, hey, I respect what you did. I seen what you did, and you just incredible. Of course, Chad Gable was not really around to see him. Maybe he saw him later in his career as he was doing the Earn R. Shyster thing, or the Michael Wall Street thing, which he did that with Alexander York before he went over and did Earn R. Shyster. It was the same. It was basically the same gimmick. But, man, Mike Rotundo, when he just wrestling as Mike Rotundo, man, outside of Dory Funk Jr., he's the best. He's the best Greek Orthodox amateur style catch-as-can wrestler I ever seen. He was incredible at that, man. And I know some people might think it was boring or whatever, but that guy was incredible at it. And man, it's not many people that could touch him on that style of wrestling. So if Chad Gable was giving Mike Rotundo respect out of that, hey, big ups to him, man. Big ups to him. All right, Shaw said, speaking of Bray, I, as the Fiend, will be at SmackDown in Greenville, October the 11th. Okay, cool. I'm making my return to being on the floor on row B, on the row B side, ringside. Okay. All right, Shaw, cool. We definitely going to be there too, no doubt. You know that. But yeah, CM Punk, the Drew McIntyre in-ring segment, I gave it a thumbs up. Next, man, we had Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio backstage segment. That gets a thumbs up, although I think they're both crazy for real. I really do. But yeah, I gave it a thumbs up. All right, next we had Damian and Rhea answering Dom's challenge, knowing it's a trap. That gets a thumbs up. Because Rhea was basically telling telling Damian, don't accept that challenge that Dom was back there presenting, man. He's back there. He's talking noise about Damian and talking about, I challenge you tonight. And Liv Morgan talking about, calling him daddy and saying he's more man than anything. And, and Rhea didn't respect him and all that thing. She can carry him around like a puppy dog and he's just going to answer her for anything. But she treats him more like a man and he's been a man. And, hey, basically, and he said he tired. He said he got tired of it. That Damian Priest was pushing him around and thinking he can pretty much talk to him any kind of way and tell him what to do. So, he said he was better than him and he was going to show it. So he called him out. And yeah, and Real just went ahead and said that is a trap. Why you accepting that? But Damian being Damian said, hey, I know it's a trap, but just hey. It gives me the opportunity to get my hands on Dom, so I'm going to take it. So he went ahead and took it, and hey, to a certain point, I don't blame him. I really don't. All right. And then we had the, and I give that a thumbs up. All right. Next, we had the Alpha and Noah. So my man Alpha from Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. That tribute was great. It definitely gets a thumbs up, and I'm happy that I got to see Alpha. I definitely got to see Alpha with Sika. I got to see their whole career, basically. From the 70s on through. I got to see those guys, man. And you talking about a great tag team, one of the tag teams that you feared. I'm not going to call them the most feared tag team, as the WWE called them the most feared tag team of all time, but they was very feared, a very ferocious, great tag team, man. One of the greatest. One of the top 10 tag teams I ever seen, probably top 5, but I can't remember exactly where I had them ranked. But that's a great tag team, Alpha and Noah, man, and his brother Sika. But wow, yeah. So Roman Reigns' uncle just passed away, and man, all prayers out to the whole Anoa'i family, and all the Samoans that's tied into that bloodline, man. So, and all the fans that love them, all their loved ones. All prayers to each and every one of them. All right, Adam Pearce backstage talk with The Miz, trying to talk him out of the match with Bronson Reed. Gets a thumbs up, guys. Although I didn't like Pearce talking up Bronson Reed like he's an unstoppable monster. I didn't like that at all. This they got a machine going, man. They definitely got a machine going, and the narrative is to get Bronson Reed over any kind of way they can. And right now, they just got him splashing people, man, trying to kill people. When it boils down to it, they are diving on people, splashing people. My girl Alma Clark is in the house. What's up, What's up, Alma? Alma says, "What's up, Harry? How you doing this evening? I'm doing pretty good. Resting up some stuff. Needs this evening, and hot as a firecracker here. Yeah, wow. A lot going on in my life. Continued prayers needed. Yes, all prayers out to my girl, Alma Clark. Everybody keep her in your thoughts and your prayers, man. And let's keep looking to the kingdom and answering the Lord, man, asking God to continue to bless and help out Alma Clark and everybody else here too, man, straight up. All right, guys, let me go ahead and continue on. All right, so we getting to the nitty gritty of this thing. All right, then we had Big Bronson Reed versus The Miz, guys. Man, wow. That match right there, Big Bronson Reed, it really wasn't a long match or anything like that. Miz was doing pretty good there, right? He was trying to hold his own. But Bronson Reed was just taking over, using power moves, pretty much bullied The Miz, bullied him and beat him down, which that wouldn't have happened years ago. But he bullied him, beat him down, man, and The Miz, I ended up giving this match 1.5 stars. Bronson Reed took the match, and then Big Bronson Reed, he did hit him with that splash, went up there, tried to get another one, and then next thing you know, Braun Strowman shows up, and hey, I gave that a mid there. I didn't get it a thumbs up nor a thumbs down, but Braun Strowman showed up, and I said, I really don't care to see Strowman versus Reed, but it might be interesting in the beginning. But for a long-term feud, guys, I don't know how much that's going to work because, it's only a few players, man, only a few bookers out there that was really good at booking those type of matches, is booking as far as giants against each other, big guys against each other, and made it look good. So we have to see how that turns out, guys. Straight up, I have no clue. But me right now, I'm like, I don't know about that one. But we'll see. We definitely will see. I'm rooting for it, and hopefully I'm rooting for it to be good. But who knows? All right, my man Magnum says, what's up, Mag? Mag says, continue prayers to you, Alma. You hang in there, my sister. Most definitely. I'm pretty sure she appreciates that, and she sees that. All right. But let's see. Let's go ahead and move on. Where in the world was I at? All right, next we had the Braun Breaker. After that, we had the Braun Breaker. Let's see. We had the Braun Breaker backstage interview. Get that gets a thumbs up. Barely. Braun Breaker was back there. He's talking. And one thing that we see as he talks now, he gets out there. It gets there, and he just speaks with his normal voice. He doesn't sound so much like his uncle now. When he gets a little busy or whatever, he sounds a little bit like his uncle and his dad a little bit. But for the most part, he doesn't. He just sounds like Braun Breaker, and he's a little more calmer than he used to be. And he pretty much was asking, why does he have to have why do they have to have a tournament to determine the number one contender, or a tournament, whoever wins the tournament takes him on. And, so Braun Breaker is just looking at, hey, why can't I just go down the ladder? I just knock down everybody, through the ladder. But you guys are putting a tournament up to see who's going to face me and see if you can get somebody out of this tournament to beat me. And I agree with him. I'm with him. I love that, what Braun Breaker was talking about, because, hey, the bottom line, and this is both companies, WWE and AEW and TNA. Let's throw TNA in there too, because they have a lot of tournaments too. All three of these companies in the last 6 months have had a lot of tournaments, guys. A lot of tournaments in the last 6-7 months. And basically, I'm pretty much getting tired of it. What they should do, because Braun Breaker is already the champion, let him doggone pick his opponents, guys, and let him just go through the roster and just pick people apart. You don't need a tournament for that. And I don't know what in the world's going on. I don't know if the narrative is like what we see on the news stations or whatever, where everybody go and say, let's say this this week, let's say this, and then all these other stations, they follow suit or whatever. I don't know if that's the case with wrestling, because WWE does some things like that, or AEW, and because WWE, sometimes they follow them, sometimes they see what they're doing and say, hey, that's a good idea for us too. But this thing right here, man, with this tournament, it don't make sense. I don't know why in the world they're doing it. If somebody knows, hey, let me know. But that's just flat out crazy, guys. We do not need that tournament for Braun Breaker, to see who's going to be wrestling him. And they didn't even say the number one contender. They just said whoever wins the tournament has a shot at Braun Breaker. It's kind of crazy. It blows my mind. All right, Alma Clark says Bronson Reed is a monster in the ring. I don't think Strowman feud. I don't think Strowman should be feuding with Reed. Okay. Alma says, thanks, man, for the prayers. Much appreciated, bro. B90, brother. B90. Alma says, I can see Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed down the road. Oh, yeah. Better than Reed versus Strowman. Yes, I think so, too. It definitely would be. All right. Let me see what we got here. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to turn on my tablet. See if I can get everything here on my tablet. You won't have to. Okay. All right. I like this a little bit better. Da, 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 da. All right, next, man, we had the Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. We had Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. Match was okay. Dom's trying to hold his own, but of course, Damian took over very quick. He established himself, pretty much taking out Dom and the little things that he tried to do. But very quickly within this match, we had interference from Judgment Day. Okay, they interfered before the match. They come running out, and Damian was ready for him. Super kick on Carlito, pretty much another super kick to another super kick to JD Madonna. He was taking them out. He was taking them out, and he pretty much took out everybody outside the ring, even Finn Balor. But he took out that crew, and and even Dominic coming out there and trying to help on the attack. He took out all four of them, and then he got in there and he beat he whooped up on Dominic. But and next thing you know, he was serving up Dominic. He served Dominic up to Rhea. Rhea Ripley ready to get him, as she's trying to get him and everything. She's got him, and she's pretty much taking him outside. She got him on the outside. She served, he was served up on the outside, so she's taking him on the outside. They done cleared the table. She's about to take this guy out on the, she about to slam him on the table. But hey, here comes his new woman, Liv Morgan. She put a stop to that. And next thing you know, Damian Priest in the ring, he got attacked by the members of Judgment Day. Damian trying to fight him off until Finn Balor came from behind, and Finn Balor got him. And Finn Balor was, like I said, Finn Balor was that secret weapon. He was that guy that came out of nowhere, even though Damian does know he in the crew, but he was the one who was able, with his little, with his talent and everything that he brings to the table, they was able to take down Damian Priest. And as they beating up Damian Priest, and Liv, she's pretty much putting it on Rhea from that attack. They got her in the ring too, and and they both getting beat down. And he dragged Rhea over there and laid her down on Damian, and they just pretty much took those two apart straight up. And Judgment Day after that, they went to the back and had a promo, and they pretty much was patting themselves on the back and talking junk about that too. So the Judgment Day backstage talk after jumping Damian and Rhea was okay. I say mid-level. I give that mid too. Neither a thumbs up nor a thumbs down. It just never got over the bar. It didn't. It really didn't, guys. So I'm just like, I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Give it a little bit more oomph. That's one thing that this whole show was missing. It was missing oomph. And so, I was just like, wow. I'm trying to get through it. I think it was better that I was watching it on the replay. I think it was better that I did that instead of watching it live, because I probably would have got mad Monday night. But Hey, it is what it is when it boils down to it, straight up. All right, next we had Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks versus Kairi Sane and Io Sky versus Alba Fire and Isa Dawn. And we know Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks was brought out by the other Fusion member, Sonya Deville. The Pure Fusion Collection, they calling themselves. And they took on Kairi Sane and Io Sky, Damage Control. They call themselves Damage Control versus Alba Fire and Isa Dawn. This was a decent match. It's a decent match. It's just over real quick. I was very shocked. And, the way it started off, I'm thinking Io Sky and Kairi Sane is going to take this match. And, they started off with fire. They was lighting it up. They was lighting, especially Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks, they were lightening them up. And then you end up having Alba Fire and what's the other one? Isa Dawn coming from behind, doing some damage, doing some serious damage. But Isa Dawn and Alba Fire end up getting the win. I only can give it 1.5 stars, guys, because it was really short. But I still was surprised at the end and how that match ended up. But I gave that match 1.5 stars. It's going to be interesting down the road to see if how long Alba and Isa Dawn will hold those titles. I don't think it's going to be much longer. I do think Bianca and Jay sometime down the road is going to take these titles. If not in the next few weeks, then it's not going to happen. But I do think Bianca and Jay will take the titles from Isa Dawn and Alba Fire. And hey, I have no problem with Isa Dawn and Alba Fire being the champions. Those girls are great. I definitely love seeing them. I do, man. I appreciate their in-ring work. Something special. All right, man. The Jey Uso backstage interview. I gave it a thumbs up. And you know what? He's still doing the yeet thing and all that. And hey, the yeet thing kind of like a little bit is kind of like it's kind of drowning a little, guys. It's drowning a little. It's losing a little bit of steam. With the yeet thing, and Jey Uso is talking about his solo career, doing something solo, and he should be the one who's with one of those titles, those solo titles. But I have no clue, man. My whole thing is this with Jey Uso. Jey Uso is going to end up being back with Jimmy and Roman here soon. So I don't know if he's going to get a singles title on this run because for some reason, Jey, the better the competition, Jey has shown and proved time and time again that he's one-dimensional. He does the same thing that what him and his brother has been accustomed to have done over the years in their matches. They are super kick. They're super kick masters, guys. They got a PhD into that. And yes, they can fight. I love the way they go at people and bam, how they throw those rights or whatever. They throw these punches. Those guys are great. They're street fighters, man. You can tell there's some street fight mentality in those guys. They know how to handle themselves. If they got in fight out on the streets, I guarantee you both of them know how to handle themselves. But yeah, Jey, I just really don't think he's going anywhere as far as a solo career unless Roman's been pulled. There's reports out there that Roman's been pulled. So I have no clue on what they're going to do. If Roman's been pulled and he's going to be off TV for another 2 or 3 months or whatever, we don't know what they're going to do with Jey if that's the case. All right. Then we had so I give that a thumbs up, definitely on that backstage interview, that segment Jey Uso had with Jackie Redmond. I think he was talking to Jackie Redmond. Then we had Pat McAfee send off. Pat McAfee, he's going back to College Game Day, and he's going to be calling some college games or is it NFL games. I know he's going back and going to be calling some games on ESPN. I don't watch college football like I used to, but I know he's going to be on College Game Day this Saturday, and I think I will be watching that. I'm probably going to watch the football game too. But so we'll see what happens there. Pat McAfee send off gets a thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up to Pat McAfee send off. And then we had the final matchup. We had the main event, guys. We had Randy Orton versus Ludwig Kaiser, guys. So Randy Orton, hey, he finally got his hands on Ludwig Kaiser solo 101. And hey, Randy was taking him out, but hey, Ludwig, he got on the outside. Ludwig was holding his own, man, hitting Randy with some chops that was sounding off. Ludwig, man, this Joker, I mean, he's kind of, very slim, don't really have any fat on him. This guy can throw down, man. He can throw down as a solo wrestler, and he looks good as a solo wrestler. So I look forward to him actually moving up, man. This right here was a good showcase for him, but he couldn't take out Randy Orton. Randy Orton ended up taking him out, but, we did have Randy Orton and Gunther. That thing exploded after the match. like we thought. But Randy Orton did get Ludwig Kaiser with the RKO, took him down, man, took that boy down. Ludwig Kaiser, hey, big showing for Ludwig Kaiser. He did really well, but 2.5 stars for that match. The aftermath, Gunther's attack, it gets a thumbs down. I got to give it a thumbs down. And the reason I do that is because Gunther is too good. He's too good to where he has to attack people. And, he has to stand out there while his protege is taking on Randy Orton. He shouldn't have to do that. I can understand him sending Ludwig Kaiser out there to wrestle him or whatever, but Gunther does not need to attack anybody. He needs to look strong, man, and they making him look weak. They making him look average by doing this. Man, Gunther is a flipping monster, and you got to make him look strong. Got to make him look strong. Does not matter the opponent or whatever. You cannot have this guy out there attacking anybody, man. Not attacking anybody unless somebody comes up in his face and he has to defend himself. That's the only way. But Gunther should not be in this in that type of scenario. He should not be in that situation. He should not be doing that. And he went at Randy first. But you have Randy Orton and you have some other people, man, that you having Gunther run up to, and they fighting Gunther off, man. They are fighting Gunther off. And look, of course, against Randy Orton, he's going to be fought off. He really is. He's going to have to bust his tail to beat up on Randy Orton. But still, when somebody that strong, somebody that bad, man, somebody that good, in fighting. And I mean, that's just rules in fighting. You got a lot of bad boys out in the street back when I was growing up. And, Mag, you know what I'm talking about, man. Back in our generation, you had a lot of bad boys out on the street, man. A lot of bad boys. But I was one of those type. I was one of them. I was one of those types that was like, man, there's some people that I know not to, even though I might be able to take out or whatever, that they was not friends with my crew or whatever. And there was certain guys, that might be their leader. And I know if I went up there and fought him one-on-one, I could beat his butt. But I knew there was going to be some pushback in those fights. Like Randy Orton against Gunther, man, that was a battle, right? Boom, 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 boom. Randy Orton, you're not just going to go and beat him up, but you got to keep the illusion going on. You have to keep that illusion going on that Gunther is the toughest man in the building. He is the Brock Lesnar. He is the big Van Vader. This guy is the John Studd, the Ernie the Cat Ladd. Andre the Giant, Abdullah the Butcher. This guy is the guy that you don't mess with. The Bruiser Brody. That's the type of dude that he needs to be. Intimidation type factor. Is he going to intimidate Randy Orton? No. Is he going to intimidate? Let's see. Is he going to intimidate Seth freaking Rollins? No. Is he going to intimidate Sheamus or whatever? These guys are not going to be intimidated by him. Which, he's already taking dusted off Sheamus, beat him to death, but Sheamus was there. Is he going to intimidate these guys? No. But still, that intimidating factor has to be there. A tough guy, a guy that's tough and known to kick butt and take names, I don't care how tough that other guy is. And, and sometimes you have to wait and see. There was older guys, man, that was out there in crews, that was in gangs or whatever. There was older guys. That was older than me. And as I came up, though a lot of those guys stepped back, as I came up and they saw me coming up, they knew me as a junior bearhead, coming up as a senior bearhead, as an older teenager. These guys started taking, even though these guys grew up into grown men, they were still, out there fighting and trying to be leaders of gangs or whatever. It's all about girls and all kind of crazy stuff back then. Some of these guys got into selling drugs and all that. I never did get into that. When they did that, that's when I stepped back. I was all into, just, I don't know, because my brother started this thing, so I was in it. But, I led the junior bearheads, but then, my brother went off to school and everything, and I got in high school my last couple of years. I was leader of this thing, man. So, my whole deal is, like I say, that person, man, these other people, they see you coming up. And Gunther is the new kid on the block, man. He is the guy who's destroying everybody. Same thing with Braun Breaker. You got to keep that flair of intimidation. You have got to keep that thing going, guys, straight up, man. And, you make Gunther look a little weak when you have to have Gunther out there sit there and watch his boy. Now, I used to do that too. Now, we'll sit there and watch our boy, but like say, hey, you hope your boy don't get taken out. And of course, he don't have Giovanni Vinci out there to go in with him to help out Ludwig Kaiser. But okay, Ludwig lost the match, but hey, you take that L and you walk away because you don't want your invincibility has to be shown to that crowd. Still, that hey, you are the toughest guy you the toughest guy in the company. You are the man. It has to still be shown. So you don't want to go in there and next thing you know, this Randy Orton is just teeing off on you, and then they cut it. They cut it. He's teeing off on you. He's looking great against you. Everybody say, "Oh, hey man, this guy ain't what we thought he was. He's not all that." Let it wait for the match because when the match comes down, Randy Orton is not going to go out like a sucker. It's going to be a back and forth battle. But then you have Gunther go over, or you have Randy take him out, but you have Randy take him out into some kind of surprise fashion. Straight up, RKO takes out anybody. But man, wow. So I think that was a fail there, and I definitely got to get that a thumbs down. That attack afterwards, it was a fail on the WWE's part, man. I did not like it. Didn't like it at all, guys. Straight up. All right, so yeah, make sure I did get at it. And yeah, like I said, that match was 2.5 stars. But yeah, thumbs down to that aftermath. All right, and then overall for Raw, it felt flat to me, so I gave it between 2 to 2.5 stars. Raw, I gave it between 2 and 2.5 stars, and that's decent. I was on Tatiana's podcast last night, and I said just basically it was a 2-star show. It was a 2-star show. It was flat. It just was a flat show all the way. But what I wrote down was between 2 and 2.5 stars, and I think that's fair. Yeah, it was between, I think that's a fair rating, between 2 and 2.5 stars. It just did not get over the way it should have gotten over. And like I said, I was talking to Christopher Burton last night. Man, it's no excuse for it. It really isn't. And yeah, I agree with Chris. You're not gonna be rock'em sock'em robots all the time. Rock'em sock'em boxing man or whatever you want to call them. You're not gonna knock somebody's head off all the time. You're not gonna knock our socks off all the time. But you should have better shows than that. Every one of the shows should be at least 3.5. 3.5 should be on the low totem pole. Every show should be 4 stars or 5 stars. Every show. Because once again, like I said, there's enough talent. There's so much talent there. There's enough talent in the WWE, and Triple H have a lot of writers around him. They should be able to come up with great shows after great shows, 100%. So I'm not going to give no excuse to anything that's going on, guys. They need to work it up. They need to get it together. All right, Alma Clark says 2.3 stars overall for Raw. Okay, Alma, that's 2.3. That's 2.5 stars. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Mag, if you still there, definitely go ahead and give me what you thought about Monday Night Raw, man. Go ahead and give me your final rating on Monday Night Raw, which I know you was there. I know you watched it and everything like that. So go ahead and give me your final rating. I hate that I missed it, but I did miss it Monday night. When it boils down to it, because I wanted to come in the middle and do it, but I was like, no, I'll just come back and I'll do a review. I wanted to do a review the next day, but didn't get to do that. All right, that's my review for Monday Night Raw, guys. Got that in. So I'm going to talk here a little while longer. Let me see what time is it. All right, been here almost an hour. Okay, that's pretty good. That's cool. But yeah, like I said, we got big shows coming up, this week, All In. Me and Christopher Burton this Sunday. We will be here for All In, hopefully, if Chris is off that day. So I have him here with me for All In, and we'll get on here. We'll talk All In, and this past Wednesday had a nice crowd. I don't know what the ratings were. I'll check that out in just a little bit, what the ratings were for Wednesday night. I would like to know the breakdown of the ratings and see if they held their crowd. We did watch it yesterday, and it was not. AEW last night was not a good show. It was not a good show. It was okay. It fell flat. It really did fall flat. Big time. And Mag, you was on last night. And I think Alma, you came on a little bit. We was on Tati's show. Tati had a nice review on it today, and Tati, she really didn't, she did not dig it. The last that match between Okada and Castagnoli, Claudio Castagnoli was a good match. Helped bring it up in the aftermath of it. I did like that, and that brought the show up. It brought it to respectability. I will say that, but yeah, it was not a good show. Straight up, man, it just was not. All right, Max says Monday Night Raw wasn't bad at all. I give it between 2.5 to 3 stars. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll with that 2.5 stars, man. I am. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was just okay. It was just kind of like flat. It could have been a little bit better, in my opinion, but it was not bad. It wasn't, it wasn't awful. It just was not good. It was a flat show, in my opinion. All right, Alma Clark says, Will Ospreay promo thumbs down, gone way over. Yeah, that was just too much. About 10 minutes too long. Yes. And when I finally started seeing that, and we started talking, I said, this thing should have ended 7 minutes ago. And I said, I guarantee you they're going to go 3 or 4 more minutes. And they did. That was just flat out crazy. And I was like, if they don't end it with a fight, then they wasted it. They had to end it with a fight for it to go that long. But then they messed it up by bringing in those doggone security guards that's not worth anything. I'm like, man, this is just flat out crazy. They should have brought out wrestlers. They should have brought out wrestlers. I'm talking about some decent wrestlers, and that would have made the thing make sense. You have some strong wrestlers come out there to separate some strong wrestlers. That would have worked. Mag says it definitely wasn't great. Laugh out loud. Exactly. I hear you, man. Mag. Wow, man. But yeah. So, and then the next week after that, we have, and I will be here. I don't know if Chris is going to be here with me, but we will have the WWE. We will have the WWE Bash at Berlin and the NXT. And I'm not going to miss NXT. No Mercy the next night. So we will be doing that. Okay. All right. So those are the big shows that's coming up. And man, hey, like I say, hey, my question is, are we getting what we invest in wrestling, guys? I talked about this last night on Tati's show, which we ended up being on that show for 4 hours, guys, over 4 hours. I appreciate Z1 coming in, D-Skill H-Town Mag in there. I appreciate Alma Clark. I appreciate everybody coming in from Straight Up Wrestling Show. And we did get a few of our subscribers subscribe over here. And we definitely appreciate that too. Yeah, like I say, are we getting what we invest in wrestling, guys? Straight up. Oh, we getting that? Man, and if you watch, and like when me and Chris, we first started this, and Chris had more time. He did not work these jobs like that. He was taking care of his mom, before his mom passed away. That's a few years ago. We started this thing off. Chris and I, man, we was all over the place. Like I said, it was hardly ever when we wasn't doing anything. We was doing reviews of wrestlers, I'm talking about of indie wrestlers. We was doing indie shows every week. We was doing an indie show, sometimes back to back. If they had a Friday and Saturday night, we was doing commentary at these shows. I was just now getting into that thing, and we was doing reviews of all the shows. I'm talking about all the shows. Monday Night Raw. We was doing doggone NXT. We was doing Wednesday night AEW Dynamite. We was doing TNA. We was doing Rampage. Man, we did when Rampage came on. We was doing everything because it came on just a little bit after we had started. CM Punk had came back, and they started Rampage. So we was doing everything, man. I mean, we was doing it all. And it was just a saturation. It saturated you. And we have wrestling like that now. We have people that watch, like my friend Andre, my friend Dre Young, Earl, man, but we call him Dre. My man Dre. He has every channel in the book. So there's a lot of wrestling. He watches some of that, GCW. He watches that, a little bit of TNA. He watches a little bit of everything. So, cause he gets all of it, but man, it can grab your whole life, man. It really can. So, but you got a lot of wrestling fans out there, and they know everybody. And I'm talking about super wrestling fans like I was growing up. I was a super wrestling fan, but I knew my wrestling. I knew most of the wrestlers from the wrestling books. I did get to see a lot of wrestling, but I knew most of the wrestlers from the wrestling book. It was a lot easier reading about them and then getting to see them than just to continue to watch shows till you see these guys. And man, wow. And I know a lot of people read about them and see clips online. I know they do. And that takes up a lot of time too. So, I have to ask, are we getting the investment back, or what we invest in the time that we spend in wrestling, because we spend a lot of time as wrestling fans today in the sport of professional wrestling. So you got to sit back and say, hey, you need to sit back. You need to stop and think and say, hey, how many other things in life that I like? How many other things in life that I have neglected to watch professional wrestling? Think about it. I want each and every one of you to think about how many other things in life that you have neglected to watch professional wrestling and to keep up with it. And you know what? That's all fine and dandy to do that when you're getting great wrestling, when you're getting outstanding wrestling, when you're getting iconic wrestling. I'm talking about iconic stuff that's going to be iconic down the road, 10, 15 years from now. I sacrificed a lot as a youngster, man. A very talented youngster, not trying to brag or whatever, very, very talented with music, and not just that, going to the movie. I used to love going to movies with my wife, girlfriend, or if she was my girlfriend at the time, I would take her to wrestling shows with me and stuff like that, man. A lot of time invested in wrestling. Bought all the wrestling magazines, anything that was wrestling memorabilia back then, whatever I could. I invested a lot of time. Turned down back when I was in school. We used to go. We live in Greenville, South Carolina. That's 2 miles down the road from Atlanta. So every week we go down to Atlanta. My mom would go to Atlanta to the baseball games too. Maybe a couple games a week during the summertime. She would go down to the baseball game instead of going to the baseball game. Hey, if wrestling was coming on, something important on TV, hey, I was staying home watching wrestling. Or if wrestling was coming in the area, I was going, I was staying as a 13, 14, 15-year-old. I was staying with my grandparents, or when I got old enough, staying by myself, as my brothers and my mom and all of them, they would head down to Atlanta, down to the Omni, or, to see the Hawks play down in, Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, to see the Falcons play, or going to see the Braves play baseball down there, when Ted Turner owned the team. They would go and I would turn down a lot of those and say, hey, no, I'm staying because I want to watch wrestling. Wrestling was that important to me. Wrestling came before everything. And I was a huge football fan, big time football fan. That was my favorite sport. But nothing beat out wrestling. Nothing. Nothing beat out wrestling. So invested a lot of time. Turn around to now, this time right here, between since June 6, 2021 to this time now, Straight Wrestling Show, man. We've been on it. We've been invested a lot of time into it. I was a huge college football fan. Always been a huge college football fan. Huge boxing fan. All the stuff has went to the wayside, and I don't put it all into wrestling. Football, I'll probably never get back into that, because now with the NIL deals and everything, and all the trading and all that in college, man, well, not the trading, but how the kids can go to any school they want to, leave at any time. I don't like the landscape of it, so I'll probably never get back into it. But boxing is something I definitely want to get back into. Chris, every time we, it's an important boxing thing on, even if we wasn't online talking to you guys or doing a live show, hey, we was invested in some indie show or something like that. So, my thing is this: if you're going to give up that much, you're going to give up so much. And, I'm a musician too, on top of that. So, hey, when we started this thing off, I was 54 years old. And I produced a couple acts in between that, doing some production and everything. But there's a lot of people been wanting me to produce music for them and stuff like that. But I'm too busy doing this. I don't mind doing it. I love wrestling, but I still have not got back to the love that I had for it. I guess that's still there for me to do it, but the love that I had for it, when I was a kid, if you get what I'm trying to say, is that to me, it was warranted. It was more warranted. It was warranted for me to do it back then more than it is now, because there was a direction in wrestling. There was a direction. Even with the WWF, there was direction there. Even though I couldn't stand that style of wrestling, but all the territories, man, there was directions. And there was a direction. There was a finish. It's kind of like a company that has a goal, that has a mission statement. That's what wrestling was. That's how wrestling came off to me. You knew Ric Flair. I watched Ric Flair as a youngster, and let me go all the way back to 1978, 77, 78, when I just thought he was at his peak. He was just killing people. He was dominating. He was the same age as MJF right now, but Ric Flair was miles ahead of that, and he was just devastating. But I knew he had some serious obstacles to get over to get to that World Heavyweight Championship, because you had greats out there, man, who held it. You had Harley Race, who ended up losing it to Dusty Rhodes, but you had Terry Funk, Jack Briscoe, those guys breathing down his neck, man. Breathing down his neck. And I'm like, where do Ric Flair fit into this? He's a star. I wanted him to have that title so bad. Finally won the title in 1981. Dusty Rhodes was the number one contender. It used to make me so mad for between 79 and 81. I'm like, Ric Flair should have this belt. Ric Flair should have this belt. Or Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was actually my favorite at the time. But Ric Flair, I wanted him to have the title because I knew what he would represent, what he would be as the champion. But man, but that was a goal. That was something to look forward to. It's like, man, the mission in wrestling is to see somebody as great as Ric Flair get the title. And if he didn't get it back, if he didn't get it, then Jack Briscoe getting it back would have been outstanding. Outstanding. Or maybe Ricky Steamboat get it. There was a direction there. The Anderson brothers, Ole and Gene Anderson, as great as they were, it was great to see tag teams, guys team up like Paul Jones and Chief Wahoo McDaniel ended up doing everything they could to take those monsters out. Seeing Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat finally take those guys out and hold those titles for a couple of years, man, and just have a incredible run of tag team success and pretty much winning those titles over and over, maybe losing it for a week or two, winning it back, man. Those guys was incredible. It was just something to see in the sight and the things that they do and how they used to build up so many great wrestlers. And right now I'm just on Mid-Atlantic, guys. Not even talking about Georgia yet. Georgia was just outstanding too. How I saw great, man, Sergeant Slaughter. How Sergeant Slaughter took a guy that was a mid-card wrestler, a low mid-card wrestler, Don Cronodle, made him Sergeant Don Cronodle, and he became just great, outstanding, got on Sergeant Slaughter's level, and those guys became a tag team and ended up beating Ricky Steamboat, Ricky Steamboat, and Jay Youngblood. Outstanding, man. Outstanding the way it all came together. You can see it coming together. You can see it. That's what I'm talking about. That was great. It was great at that time. At that time, 81, 82, seeing a young Jake the Snake Roberts and seeing what he could be. Seeing how devastating he was and like, wow, man. Okay, hey, he's in the Mid-Atlantic Championship area, which they had so many great wrestlers. And, he was asking Ricky Steamboat, can I help you in this feud? He was asking Johnny Weaver, can I help you in this feud? He was asking, he was going to the greats, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, I'm here for you if you need me in this feud. He was going to these greats. He was going to Roddy Piper, who was over there too. Roddy Piper, you need me to team up with you against Ron Bass and Black Bart. Hey, I'm here for you. Seeing his progression, Roddy Piper was already a star. Already taking on Greg the Hammer Valentine. Those guys going at each other, man. You saw the greatness, but Jake the Snake Roberts, a young buck, man, at that time. You just knew what he was going to be. Like, oh, wow, he needs to go to Georgia. They got Mr. Wrestling, too. They got Tim Woods, Mr. Wrestling over there. They got Tommy Wildfire Rich. They got Tony Ellis. They got Kevin Sullivan. They got Abdullah the Butcher, the Mass Superstar. They got stars, but they don't have as many as Mid-Atlantic. This guy can go up there, man. He's quickly in the top 7, top 5, quickly. Or he can go to Florida Championship and wrestling and be one of the top 3 wrestlers. Or he can go over to Southwest Championship Wrestling down Tully Blanchard's dad's company and be the champion, or be the second biggest star outside of Tully Blanchard or Gino Hernandez. You can see this stuff, man. There was a direction. There was guidance in wrestling. And even up in the WWF at that time. Hulk Hogan going, you see Hulk Hogan, okay, of course he was going to become the champion, but just before Hulk Hogan was there. Hulk Hogan was, he was a Thunder Lips type of guy. Great. Coming out there with Classy Freddie Blassie. Great. Outstanding. Bad guy. Loved it. But Tony Atlas used to whoop his butt all the time. But then I see Tony Atlas and my man Rocky Soul Man Johnson. They take the belts off the Samoans, who was just outstanding. That was great to see. Tony Atlas came out of the Mid-Atlantic Championship area. Great, outstanding wrestler. Ken Patera back over there after he done beat up police officers, him and Mr. Saito, and then they go up there, they got out of jail, and then he goes up there and he progressed over there in the WWE again, the WWF. But man, just crazy, just great stuff. It was such an honor to invest your time in the wrestling, and you can go out there and you can brag to anybody about wrestling, even if they didn't like it. And back in the day, Mag, there was so much stuff out there about, it's fake. And people just get mad, man. You just get mad at you because you didn't take their side on it. But it wasn't a lot of people that said that, but it was people that said that, sometimes you have friends or whatever, older friends who try to hurt you or whatever, with those statements and everything. One guy, he wanted to fight me, man. He was in high school. He was in middle school. Big dude, man. I was in 6th grade. This guy's in 9th, 10th grade and fought me because I believed in it. Because I believed in wrestling. Because, man, I was talking to his brothers about wrestling. He got mad at me and fought me, man. I had to fight. I fought a high school guy in 6th and 7th grade. I fought him a few times over this. And my brother was in high school too. And, he was like, oh, you going to go to your brother? You going to go to your brother? No, I had battles with this guy. And he couldn't take me out. I didn't beat him either, but he didn't beat me. I was a 12, 13-year-old kid, man. This kid's 17 years old. 16, 17 years old. 9th, 10th grade. And he thinking I'm going to take it back to my brother. My brother would have killed him. He knew that. He was scared of my brother. He was so afraid of my brother. But I should have told my brother about it. My brother would have beat the snot out of him. But, I decided not to. Every time one of them older boys would fight me, they would say, you going to go back to your brother. You going to go back to your brother. No, I didn't do that. I didn't need my brother to fight my battles. Now, if I would have went back with bruises or whatever, my brother would have got involved. He was like, who in the world you fought? What in the world happened? But, man, I was just flat out crazy. But wrestling, my brother was a huge wrestling fan. Wrestling, he the one who got me into this thing, man. Wrestling was great to invest your time in. It was outstanding. And now, man, like I say, wow. They tease us. They give us something great. Then they give us trash, man. And why, we look at things now and we got to look at why people invested so much time into this. I mean, so much, people believed it so much into this bloodline thing and Judgment Day. It's the greatest things that's went on. It's the best things that have went on out of over the 3 years that we've been back here doing that. It's pretty much one in the Cody Rhodes run. Cody Rhodes run to the title. Those are the 3 things that you can hang your hat off of. Me and Chris, we sat down and I said, Chris, what can we actually hang our head on? And he said, that's it, man. Pretty much, that's basically it. Is watching what they done. I think Bianca's story was great, how she held the title for so long and the things that she was able to do and her soaring popularity. I think that was great in the last 3 years. Man, I did like Bobby Lashley's little story when we first came on here because he was the world champion at the time. Bobby Lashley for 4 or 5 months, been the first 4 or 5 months of the Straight Up Wrestling show. He was the champion over there. He was dominant, man. It was great to see that. Outstanding. I was amazed at it. I loved it. But they took the title off of him and he wasn't what he was before. But those things was worthy of investment. But outside of that, most of the things, I can't see what was worthy of investing a whole bunch of time into. Now, I've seen a lot of great indie shows. I really have. And, over in AEW, is there really anything that doesn't happen over there? The best thing that they had for people to invest in, MJF. But MJF, hey, MJF showed us what he thought about us, man, once he became the champion over there. Decided not to defend his title. All right, but let me go ahead and get to some of these comments. Max says it definitely wasn't great. Laugh out loud. My man Z1 is in the house. Z, I saw you, bro. I saw you. Let me try to get over here. What in the world? Let me get over here. Z says, what up, Harry? What's up, Z? Max says, when it comes to wrestling, thank God for the DVR. I hear you, Mag, no doubt. Max says, during football season, I have Monday nights on picture-in-picture. I don't blame you there, man. I don't blame you there. But, wow. But, yeah, I definitely wanted to go ahead and talk about that as far as the investing in wrestling, guys. And Wow, what in the world's going on here? Must have hit something. So everything went a little dark here. Get the comments back up. All right, guys. All right, the majors, man. All right, let's look at what we have. We got the WWE. We got AEW. We got TNA. Now, we want to look at anything on a major scale, those three, and then you can look at everybody else come after that, even the NWA, MLW, or whatever, and the indies. And wrestling has to get right as far as on a major scale. Now, AEW shouldn't be copying WCW, and they do it a lot. Now, they can't copy the storylines. They don't do that. So they don't invest in that. But as far as the way everything outlined, they definitely do. And WCW did that. WCW started. Now, a lot of people might not think about this, but hey, WWF used to follow what WCW used to do. They did. When it was a Crockett NWA promotion, they used to follow what NWA used to do. They did. Even though they had a bigger company, they followed what Jim Crockett Promotions did. But then WCW, as Eric Bischoff came in, Eric Bischoff decided he gonna follow what the WWF did, and that was a huge mistake. And wrestling has gotten to the point where it is now. Monkey see, monkey do. Everybody do the same thing over and over again. We don't have no variety, and that hurts wrestling, guys. And wow, it really isn't worth, spending a whole bunch of time going on that, and then that impacts the indies, because the indies, it cracks me up, because the indies out here, most of the indie promoters, they try to do everything that they see on TV. Same thing that they see in WCW and AEW. They try to mimic that and do the same thing. And I'm like, why would I pay my money when I could get to see the same thing free on TV with bigger stars? So it has an impact on the indies. Indies used to do their own thing back in the day, man. They was more like, a lot of the indies, they was like more like the territories after the territories went down, and these indies came out here and basically was like the territories, which was outstanding. They put together a lot of outstanding shows. But guys, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate my man Magnum coming in, Z1, Armor Clark. Sorry, Charity, I don't know if you still on, but I didn't get you on here. Sorry about that, buddy. Definitely sorry about that. I definitely got to get you on here. But Charity, if you still on, man, just come on. Send me. I'll send you a link if you're still on, but I don't know if you are. Logan James came here. Logan James K. I appreciate you coming in. My man Black Rain 7920 came through. I appreciate you 100%. But guys, I got to get out. I got to get to the store and everything. I appreciate everybody coming in here, rocking with Straight Up Wrestling Show, man. I am out of here. It's HBT once again. And I'll see you guys later. Stay straight up. Peace.